Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, I'm Kristen, and today I am making the coolest nails inspired by the 2024 film Nosferatu. It's going to be a great video. Be sure to stick around to the end for the full reveal. And if you're scoping out the nails on my right hand, I did a how-to video for these for my patrons over on my Patreon, so come join me over there if you're able to. I'll probably be going back and forth between the nails and talking about the movie. There's a lot of cool techniques I used in this video, so if you have any questions about what I'm doing or what products I'm using, just let me know. Leave a question in the comment section. So, Nosferatu 2024 is a retelling, a slight reimagining of the original Nosferatu movie from 1922. I'm kind of a self-proclaimed Nosferatu specialist at this point. I don't know if any of you remember, but one of the very first videos on my channel and my very first Nails in a Movie was based on Nosferatu 1922. And I went in so deep about that film, its historical significance, all the fun facts associated with it. I know way more than any average person about Nosferatu, and in that video from a couple years back, I also went through some information about the 1979 Nosferatu movie. So, yeah, if you feel like learning some stuff, go check out that video. There might be some spoilers in this for the new movie, but I'm not too concerned since, the story is over 100 years old and has been remade so many times, and we basically all know the story of Nosferatu and or Dracula. They're interchangeable. So, yeah, just if you're wondering, yeah, there might be spoilers. I had a really great experience watching this film for the first time. I did wait for it to come out of theaters onto streaming and become free to watch. Your girl's on a big budget right now. But yeah, I waited for it to become available. It showed up on Prime one day, so hopefully wherever you live, you can watch it there as well. It was the evening. I turned all my lights down to a really low shade. I probably put them on a red or an orange color. I had my blanket. I had a beverage. I don't remember what. I had a couple of joints ready, a couple of snacks. And I just curled up in my little blanket on my couch and just tuned out the world and became completely focused on this film. It was super mesmerizing. I was completely engrossed in it. Something about the way that it was filmed made it very tense and dread-filled for me. Again, I did kind of set the right setting for myself. I feel like some people would watch this and think it's really boring, but I had a really good time. It was a very immersive experience. I also enjoyed picking up on all the little details that carried over from the original Nosferatu movie, while also really appreciating a few ways that they changed the story and modernized it. It was definitely a 10 out of 10 movie for me. I definitely think it's a masterpiece. Yeah, it is, in my opinion. So let's talk about the people behind this film. So it was rewritten for the new era and directed by Robert Eggers. He is an American director who you may know some of his other work because he also directed that Witch film and The Lighthouse. And just backtracking a little bit, when I did my Nails in a Movie for the Substance film, I said that that director, Coralie Farjat, was the most detailed director I had ever learned about, ever experienced. But I was wrong because the most detailed director I've ever encountered is Robert Eggers. He is absolutely obsessive over historical accuracy. And while watching some interviews with him, he said that that is the part that he enjoys the most. He loves researching historical stuff and getting all the details right. And that makes sense because for him to be so good at that, I'm glad that he gets some enjoyment out of it too, because trust me, I don't think I would get that same amount of enjoyment out of like, yeah, figuring out all of those little tiny details about a time period. It seems like such a huge daunting task. But he's the right man for the job. So of course that means that the set design is impeccable, incredibly accurate, the costume design stunning, super accurate, all the details about the little things, the little knickknacks in their lives, things on the desks, stuff on the shelves, everything is just super accurate and created its own world. Like it was very easy to become immersed in this film because of all those little details. And I think I'm just really attracted to movies and directors that really go the extra 1,000 miles to get the details right. And for the director, redoing this Nosferatu movie was something that he had been thinking about pretty much ever since he was a child. He was kind of obsessed with Nosferatu. And he told this story about how when he was in high school, he directed a Nosferatu play, a stage play, and then he was actually approached by a local theater and was given the opportunity to direct the play with more budget, like a more professional setting. And that experience really solidified the fact for him that he wanted to be a director and this was the path he was going to take. So, this movie is his most personal film, which is just probably why there's so much heart and love put into it. And just to talk about the nails for a moment, I am so freaking impressed with myself that I nailed the hyper realistic nail extension look. I absolutely love how these look even with no additional details added. Like I could make a set of press-ons like this and they would be amazing. Of course, we're going to decorate the nails, but I'm just so happy with how they've turned out so far. Next, I'm going to be working on a sculpted locket, which turns out amazing, but we'll get there. And this locket is inspired by the necklace, by the locket that the lead actress wears. And that's a good segue. So, the lead role of Ellen Hutter is played by Lily Rose Depp. And I absolutely loved her performance in this. I don't have anything negative to say about her. I was like mildly concerned at first because I had really only seen her in The Idol, which is literally one of the worst shows, or it is the worst show I've ever seen. Not that that's any fault of hers, she was still okay in it, but I was just like, ooh, like, I hope this works out for you, girl. And it really did. Like, she's amazing in it. She has a very like haunting look to her, and she really gave this role her all. Originally cast in that role was Anya Taylor-Joy, who's worked with Eggers before on The Witch, and I've just seen her in so many different movies and horror movies. I'm honestly kind of glad that Lily Rose Depp got the chance because personally I'm a little sick of seeing Anya Taylor-Joy in everything. She actually turned down the role after a while because she was doing that Mad Max Furiosa movie, which honestly, she probably regrets that because that film was a total flop. And this film is going to go down as a masterpiece for sure. Apparently, when Robert Eggers saw Lily Rose Depp's audition tape, he cried. It brought him to tears. She was just, she was really giving it her all, letting herself become really vulnerable because the role, like once you see the movie, you'll get it. It's like she has to be hysterical and that's like a lot of work to basically act hysterical, and there's a lot of physicality to her role as well. I really loved learning that she actually had a movement coach, and they specifically worked with a Japanese dance style that's very like dark and scary. So there's a lot of like, I don't know how to describe it, a lot of like really like shaky like in whole body shaky movements. I'm sorry, I'm just struggling to like describe it. But anyway, she nailed it and it took a lot of practice and a lot of work and it's super cool. They did change some aspects of her character in this new film, and something that I really liked as a change in the story is that like right at the very beginning you learn that she's a lonely girl and she's wishing to have some companionship, and she's basically like praying like someone please take away my melancholy, help me with this loneliness. And that's how she ends up summoning Nosferatu and creating that link with him. He has some control over her after that. And I just want to pop in my absolute favorite film review that I found for this movie. Y'all, girl was so horny, she awoke an evil from a century-long sleep and brought a plague onto the city. I love this review. It's so accurate, so funny, and who else can relate? Okay, back to the nails for a second. I was so pissed that this part came out blurry because it was such detailed work. I'm going to pop in a photo of how this ended up looking because honestly, what a shame that this part is so blurry. But back to our horny girl summoning evil. Honestly, I've been watching a lot of horny girl horror movies, and I don't know if it's becoming a subgenre or something. Something's going on. Something's in the water right now. But at the same time as being like dreadful and scary and tense, it's also a pretty sexual movie. It's definitely got those sexy vibes in there. And that's probably a good segue to talk about the lead role of Nosferatu, played by Bill Skarsgard. He is such a cutie. Oh my god. I have loved him ever since this pretty bad next Netflix show called Hemlock Grove. Has anyone ever seen that? I don't recommend it. It's not that good, but I was like, who is he? And I've had my eye on him ever since. I love him in pretty much everything he does. It's definitely interesting to me that he recently played Pennywise in the It movies, and now he's playing Count Orlock in Nosferatu. And I was just like, maybe he is really into doing these types of roles. But afterwards, he said that this was like one of the scarier and harder roles for him to do, and he didn't think that he would do something like this again. The other actors and the crew of the film were also kind of scared of him when he was in full costume and stuff. He wasn't method acting though, like he still was like himself and was still able to like laugh and joke in between takes, so it wasn't like that scary, but yeah, something about the design of the creature and his voice and how he acted was just really fucking scary. And just before we keep going talking about him, I just want to flip back to the nails for a moment because I had to work on the next piece off camera, which is this rat. I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to make a rat for the nail, but I was also really scared and didn't know how to do it. So I didn't film me making this because I needed my phone to like look at reference materials. And I was very creatively zoned in trying to make this. I pretty much got it the first try, which I was so pleased about. But yeah, I'm so sorry I didn't show it. I just did not have the confidence to do it without staring at reference photos. But I'll show you the tail. But back to Bill Skarsgård in the titular role of Count Orlock, aka Nosferatu, or Nossi. Sometimes I like to call him Nossi. Anyway, when you first hear him talk, it is like, whoa, is that really Bill Skarsgård? One, it doesn't look anything like him, but it does not sound anything like him. The voice is so deep, so low, so particular in how he spoke. And it turns out he had to do an immense amount of vocal training to get his voice that low. He worked with an opera coach to literally lower the octave of his voice. And apparently, it just took a lot of energy just to keep his voice so low like that and to also stay in character and with the very specific accent, I guess you could say. in addition to the extensive voice work and even just like having to carry himself in these really big costumes, he also had to spend like 4 to 6 hours a day in the makeup chair for all of the makeup work. So, yeah, he was dedicated to the role, but it seemed like a really, really challenging role. He completely disappears in it. If I didn't know it was him, I would not have known it was him, you know? I really love the rest of the cast as well. Nobody was miscast in this. So we also have Nicholas Hoult as Thomas Hutter, Lily Rose Depp's husband. I've been a big fan of Nicholas Hoult ever since that Warm Bodies movie. Give me a shout if you're a fan of that movie as well. I also really liked him in Renfield, which was like another Dracula movie. I was kind of shocked to find out that originally cast in his role was Harry Styles. And I know that he was good in there was some war movie he was in that was good that he was acclaimed for, but if anyone saw Don't Worry Darling, he is not a very good actor, and I'm super glad that he was replaced with Nicholas Hoult, who is a really amazing actor. Another actor that I'm kind of obsessed with, I'm so obsessed with the male actors in this film. Aaron Taylor Johnson plays a friend of the family. He's like a rich dude, and he has like a really intense character arc. But yeah, I love that actor. Ever since I saw him in Kick-Ass, I've been like, wow, he's so cool. So I was really happy to see him in this. And Willem Dafoe, who I'm sure most of us are familiar with, he has a really amazing relationship with the director, Robert Eggers. They worked before, maybe on a few things, but definitely on The Lighthouse, which is a really weird fucking movie. I don't think I would recommend it to just anyone. I went to see that one in theaters because it was filmed out in my neck of the woods over here in Nova Scotia. So I just wanted to see it because, I like watching things where I recognize the landmarks and stuff, locally filmed things. But yeah, Willem Dafoe brings a real spark of life to the film. He is just truly such an exceptional actor. He brought so much to this role. I think he was my favorite character in the film. I really enjoyed any scene that he was in. Of course, he's incredibly experienced. He's probably the most experienced actor on the set. But yeah, he didn't outshine everyone, but he definitely shone, He was a little shiny. He played kind of this Van Helsing character. I forget his name in the movie. It was Professor something Vaughn, whatever. But yeah, he was kind of the guy who knew a little bit about the occult and just had more of an open mind about what was going on. But we're getting close to the end of this video, so I'm going to try to wrap up a few more of my thoughts. I didn't even really get to go too in depth about the cinematography, which is stunning. It's perfect, honestly. The design of everything, set design, costume design, phenomenal. Oh, the music. Oh my God, the music was so enthralling. I absolutely loved it. I did see that the composer and Robert Eggers are friends, and that always results in the best musical composition because it's if the director and the composer really understand what needs to happen, then it's just a beautiful harmony. So yeah, shout out to the composer who made a stunning score for this film. I also learned that they did a very interesting blend of both practical effects, real sets, and CGI. They really only used CGI where they had to, and everything just kind of went together really seamlessly. So kudos to the special effects team as well. And I'll throw in a little fun fact. All the snow was real special effects snow. There was no CGI. They actually used frozen potato flakes, which is an old method from the old movies. And I love that. I'm a potato lover. So, but I'm going to have to wrap it up now. So I really hope that if you haven't seen this film yet, that you go check it out and you enjoy it. And also go check out my original Nosferatu video because it is kind of fun, jam-packed full of information. I put more work into that video than I've put into any other video since because when you're new, you really give it your all, and then you realize not really anyone is watching, so you kind of lighten up a little bit. But yeah, that video, I'm very proud of it. I might sound a little different because I was not as experienced. It was like my third video ever, but I think it still holds up. And I also feel that knowing the history or just knowing more about a certain subject matter or why a film was made, etc., I just feel like it adds so much more richness to the viewing experience. So I think, me having all that extra knowledge about the original films and the 1979 remake and lots of other Dracula movies really enriched my experience of watching this remake. And with that, I am creeping in with the finished set. I'm awakening from my crypt to show you this nail set. I am in love with it. I think this is one of the best sets I've made in a while. I did use a matte top coat over everything, which I don't normally do. I did a couple nails off camera. I did kind of like some sort of organic bone. It's not really like a human spine, but I'm taking reference from like a skeleton, basically, and the rat, which is my pride and joy of the set. I had a very strong desire to attach these with gel and just wear them for the next week, but I didn't want to destroy them. I felt like they were so pretty, so I just have them stuck on with sticky tabs so that I can keep them as a little art piece. And yeah, I should have made another hand too, but one hand was enough. This took a lot. It takes a lot for me to design what I'm going to do and then actually get the courage to do it. I didn't know how I was going to make that locket. I didn't know how I was going to make that rat. It stresses me out sometimes, but I am so, so friggin' happy with the finished result. And I hope that you liked it too. Please let me know your thoughts about this set, the movie, in the comments section. And if you made it to the end of the video, you are one of my favorite people. Thank you so much. And I hope to see all of you in the next one. Bye.